Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again, and today we are here for Kamen Rider Revice episode 26. Now this was an awesome, phenomenal episode yet again in the freaking history books, and we got a lot of information on Kamen Rider Veil, who was Ikki's dad. We got a lot of confirmation on him, a lot of information on who Busan really is, and a lot of more backstory on just the whole Kamen Rider Veil story. Also, we're getting a Kamen Rider Veil spin-off series. Hello. Oh God. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna cut that out, but you know what? I'm not cutting that out. That was Hiromi. Hiromi wanted to say hi, but this episode, also we're getting a Kamen Rider Veil sequel, basically a spin-off series, basically to show like what happened back in those days. But yeah, also we basically start off with you see that George. We see that George is basically back at basically the Phoenix base or whatever, and they're actually they're actually doing some tests and stuff on Gifu, the Gifu coffin or whatever. They end up shooting a bunch of Gatling guns and stuff at it. It turns out it is basically it's like basically straight up impenetrable. And then it's like, the head director is there, and he's like, yep, I guess this means this is where stay in your lane. So we see that everybody's still trying to understand everybody's still trying to understand what's going on with them, and actually coming to the realization and accepting the fact that they are descendants of GIF. And Sakura feels like she's not even, are we even human anymore? Like, does this mean we're not humans? And Ikki's like, yeah. He said we are humans, but it still means that we have to stop what's going on and stuff like that. And we see that Ikki basically takes on like the little leadership role here. But we see that Kagero's talking to Daiji. Kagero's like, who would have thought that we are like related to the final boss or whatever? And he's basically telling Daiji that, yeah, now that I've been getting stronger, that I could take over your body. I could take over your body at any point in time now, and permanently. So he does, and we see that when Daiji leaves from the little meeting that Sakura and Ikki are having, he basically talks about how Kagero is getting stronger, and Kagero is acting up too when all that stuff happened. And Ikki basically tells him that, hey, anything could happen, let me help you. And he's like, Daiji's like, no, he's my demon, I'll handle him. So Daiji goes up basically off to go handle his own thing, and you see that Kagero does end up taking him over and going to see George. Now we see George has created 2 new Vice stamps, and these it was a bat Vice stamp. It was black and white, and there was another Vice stamp there. There was like a red Vice stamp. It had like a fan in it, which is weird. I guess that the other one is gonna be like foreshadowing another form for Ikki. But you see that he's taking over. He's Kagero. Kagero goes in. Basically, he basically tells George that, hey, I've come here to take this. He basically came there to take the driver and that new Vice stamp that he had. And George is like, what if I tell you no? And he ends up He ends up basically holding one of the girls hostage, one of the assistant doctor girls hostage, and he basically tells him that, no, I can't give this to you. And that's when the head director comes in, and he tells him that, hey, give it to him, go ahead and give it to him. This is where Daiji has to go through some trials and stuff like that. And like George is like, well, what if Kagero wins? And he was like, we'll just employ Kagero in his place. I was like, what the hell? You mean to tell me you're out here just willing to just employ a demon in his place? I mean, this is the guy that started the Dead Men's. So yeah, but basically see that he gives Kagero the stuff. He gives Kagero everything, and basically he's going to basically settle everything with Daiji. Yeah, but we also saw that Vale has gone back to Orteca. He's gone back into the Demon's Driver, and he basically has unlocked all the power, basically, for Orteca. So Orteca has gotten stronger in this episode as well. We see another new stamp he ends up using as well. It was like an armadillo kind of stamp. I could not pronounce this name, but it was like an armadillo kind of stamp. He gets like these big armored arms. So added on to the Bata and the Scorpion. So he gets the Scorpion tail, the Bata legs, and there's like these spiked armadillo arms. And we see that form later on in the episode. But also we see that we start to see Iki talk to Busan, and we see Sakura go off and talk to George's dad. He goes and talks to Katsuragi. Yeah, well, they go and talk to Dad Katsuragi. So he basically tells her they have the two different stories at the same time. So we actually know that Ginta Igarashi is not his name. His name is actually Shunpei. It was Shunpei. I couldn't pronounce the last name, but it was Shunpei, and he was basically brought in to become a Kamen Rider, and basically become Kamen Rider Vale, and he ended up destroying demons. And he was part of a organization called Noah, and Noah was a military organization. Basically, they go in, they capture demons, and they try to do experiment on demons for military use. And it was Kamen Rider Vale. It was his job to go off and destroy demons that basically escaped the experimentation process. So he would kill demons every single day, and it led him down further and further into this dark path that he basically was in. And that's actually where he met Busan. He met Busan in the Noah organization. So what happens is he ends up they say that Junpei ended up meeting their mom. He ended up meeting their mom. That's where he met her. And when he ended up meeting her, she was able to pull him out of that rut and that darkness that he was in. And he ended up leaving Noah, and that's when he basically changed his name and his face, and he became Ginta Igarashi. So that's how the story goes from there. But yeah, he ended up just going AWOL and changing his name and his face and everything, and that's how he ended up getting out of it. But we actually see that the Noah organization was betrayed, because the commander their commander, he ended up betraying them, and he ended up taking a bunch of people with him and actually started worshiping demons. And that is the man that we see who is now the head director of Phoenix. That's him who ended up starting the the whole Dead Man cult. And yeah, that's basically it. And we also saw how Katsuragi, he is the reason why he created the rolling vice stamp and the Libra driver, was basically he's trying to atone for his sins and things like that. And yeah, that's basically it. So we get to the battle. We get to our battle between Kagero and Daiji. And we see that they have to fight. We see Kagero in control, and he basically summons Daiji the same way Iki was summoned Vice, basically, where Vice could come out every now and then and stuff like that. Yeah, and that's basically how he summoned them. And they end up talking to each other for a while, and they basically says that, and Kagero's like, hey, if killing you means that I can be free, then I'm willing to do that. And then Daiji's like, yeah, well, there was a part of me that wished we could have got along. And he's like, nah, we could never get along, bro. Me and you will never be Iki and Vice. I would never do that. But we see that they're getting ready to fight, and that's when that's when George ends up calling Iki, and he ends up calling Sakura to go and to try and help him out, basically try and help Daiji. We see that Daiji and Kagero end up both hitching up, and that's when the battle ensues. We see Iki on his way there with George, but we see Sakura is also on her way there, but she's intercepted by Aguilera, and Aguilera basically is trying to figure out why you keep getting stronger than me. It was just so random. I feel like Aguilera didn't serve no kind of purpose in this episode, in my opinion. She basically was just pissed off that Sakura was stronger than her and stuff like that, and then Sakura basically telling her, like, you just have to figure out your own purpose. I can't tell you what your purpose is. I can't tell you that. You have to figure it out for yourself, and maybe you've already found it, but you keep turning away and pretending like it's not there. Like, you have to find out what you want to do and what you want to do for your own sake, and that's basically Sakura still fighting Aguilera. We see Iki and George basically get there. Vice is basically telling Iki, like, you have to stop this and stuff like that. He's like, no, I'm not interfering, because this is Daiji's battle, this is their battle, stuff like that. And then that's when Orteca bitch ass come up, and Orteca tries to stop their fight, but he ends up fighting Iki instead. Iki transforms into Jack Revice, and that's when we get Iki versus Orteca. And then that's when Vale is actually starting to talk more while he's still with Orteca, and we see the newfound power that Orteca has obtained now that Vale is back, and Vale is using that power, basically giving him that power. So we see Orteca's new ultimate form, where he uses the Bata stamp, the Scorpion stamp, and this Armadillo, I think, stamp at the same time. I don't know if it's an armadillo or a bug, but yeah, he ends up using this new Armadillo stamp and everything. Now he gets this brand new freaking form, and it looks really cool, but it's also very dangerous. And he does end up beating Jack Revice and actually kicking him and being able to get him back into his civilian form. While that's happening, we see that Daiji has basically defeated Kagero, and Kagero basically says that he pulls out the bat stamp that he stole from that he got from George earlier, and it transforms from black and white to blue and white, and it turns out that is basically Daiji's new form, which is Holy Live. Yeah, it was Holy Live. Basically turns into the Holy Live Vice stamp, and he ends up using that Vice stamp after Kagero ends up fading away into black feathers. And he does kind of have, like, he does thank him and stuff like that. And also with my subs, he also Kagero called him partner, but he ended up transforming into Holy Live, and this Haitian sequence was actually pretty freaking cool. It was like super dynamic, kind of like how Kamen Saber's Haitian sequences were. That's how I felt. But yeah, he ends up transforming into Holy Live and ends up battling Orteca. He ends up hitting Orteca, and the episode ends off with Daiji saying, "Orteca, you will receive no mercy from me." And the episode ends up right there, and I'm just like, yo, that sucked. I wanted to see it do more, but we'll have to wait till next week. But this form looks absolutely dope. I also love the Henshin sequence as well, and the song is kind of hit or miss for me. I like the ending of the song is the best part, but the other part is kind of weird. But I love this form because Daiji is my favorite he's my first favorite. He's my favorite writer in this series. So I'm also glad we got to settle the whole Kagero stuff, and the whole Kagero arc and whatever. And I love that Daiji finally got some shine and a new form and stuff like that. So I'm really happy to see Kagero gone and also see my boy Daiji get a brand new form that looks absolutely freaking dope. But yeah, guys, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down there, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. And remember, stay henshined.